Namaste, Jai Bharat. I'd mentioned quite a few times before the Pakistan's fetishism with being at par with Bharat. They just keep repeating, copying whatever Bharat is doing. There's a kind of fetishism with them, which had been remaining for quite some time. Wherever it is possible, they said they are much ahead of us, beyond us. But then at least they would like to be at par with us, at least in the eyes of their people, they keep saying that. Now, the state of Hormuz is in a very confusing state, where Bharat has asked Iran for safe conduct of our cargo vessels. And we have brought some of our vessels with Iran's permission. And also we expect others not to attack us. The only people who would have stopped us is Iran, and US is not supposed to do that, and Israel will never do this. So we had a kind of understanding. And Iran had been escorting, rather, supporting our escort through their coast area. And our vessels are coming. Not many other people's vessels keep going. In spite of the fact that the first vessel that came belongs to Saudi, but then it was carrying oil or gas for Bharat. So then several other, one after another, they have come, and then many are to come. Now Pakistan, in all their might, sends one of their ship through Strait of Hormuz. I don't know what was in this ship. Must have been a test dose. I also doubt whether they're sensible enough to send a test dose. No, that's also possible. So, and that was captured by Iran. What do these Pakistanis think? They're trying to be at par with Bharat. They're trying to copy Bharat. Just because our vessels were sent, Pakistan thought that we are sending. They have their version of Punjabi. Again, they have their own version of everything. They have their version of Islam and their version of language. Punjabi, Asibi Muslim, Sistibi Muslim. They would try to do that, and pushing their try to push one of the ships with cargo, without cargo. I don't know, because such things I didn't hear in news, or I must have not marked them. So that was captured. And with what face they will face their people? Of course, they can face their people who are faceless, and they are also faceless. So this thing goes on. Unnecessarily going and begging for problems. Asking what trouble is too gentle at them. This had been the history. Whatever Bharat does, they want to do it. They can't, they will do it. We have done nuclear tests, and way back. We have done nuclear tests, and maybe that's a necessity of the world geopolitics and the balance, with of course with the explicit conviction that we are not going to attack anyone. So from with our point of view, there is no harm in Bharat having nuclear weapons to anyone. Even if you coerce us beyond a certain level, we are not going to use them, because we have certain principles which are not available to others from Hindu Dharma. So we can't do that, we won't be doing it. But then that's necessary. At least it protects us as a shield. And immediately Pakistan wants to make nuclear weapons, and hurried through that process. They hurried through everything because they have no capability of even making typewriters or motorcycle engines of 100cc. This is what I heard. I haven't gone to Pakistan to watch this personally. They depend on China, and China, of course, mastered. China has some internal problems, very interesting. China wants to do everything immediately. Their regime is very kind of a rigid kind of regime, communist regime, which, of course, again has nothing to nothing really to do with communism envisaged by Marx. Communism envisaged by Marx, Lenin is one thing, and socialism envisaged by Marx, Lenin is another thing. And these people, the Chinese, I don't know what kind of Marx they are trying to follow. They say that they will be following Maoism. Well, that how deeply connected to Marxism is, I don't know. And if at all there is some kind of communism which was closer to Marxism, both in spirit and letters, is Lenin. Vladimir Lenin. But Mao and China, they had made their own jugaad, as we say in Hindi, in Bharat, some kind of a communism. So that is very effective for the rulers because they have rigid rules. No questions asked, iron curtain, iron rule, what kind of thing. So they would insist their technicians to make something overnight. See, an invention or a product must get evolved first through the brains, ideas, then discussions, then the process of real physical production. These things takes time. Sometimes if one is lucky, it happened fast, and otherwise it has its own schedule, normal time. But this doesn't happen in China. They would force their technicians to produce something, and the technicians will do something in a hurry to please the boss, where the quality is often compromised. Another thing, these higher ups in Chinese echelons are not very fair, in the sense very corrupt. They try to take money. Wherever it's possible, they compromise qualities and take money because they believe that these weapons are never going to be tested in war. Because there's not going to be war with anyone in all likelihood, and they will only threaten. So the governments in China, the communist regime, so-called communist regime, I have my respect towards Marx, though I as a philosopher I like him, but as a speculator is miserable. He's such a daydreamer. But as a philosopher, of course, he had done something on dialectics, which of course he made lie down flat. Of course, I am diverting. So communism, they would so there is no possibility, there is no threat, etc. So they would compromise on qualities of production also. They corrupt. So corruption compromises quality of Chinese products, and coercion. You force people to create. Well, you cannot force creation. Creation has to be spontaneous. Production is also like that. It takes its time to get evolved. So this compromises the quality of Chinese weapons or Chinese products, any Chinese products. Otherwise, the people of China, they're good enough. They can do things. How sturdy it is a different question. Like the Germans and people in India also make very strong things, and Germans are very popular for that. That thing you may not expect from China, but they're technically good. They should be good. But then here in these two conditions, one, corruption, two, their ruling system wouldn't allow them to be very creative. They'll force them, so they will make something to satisfy the boss. Taking money also from corruption and meeting the deadline of the boss also, these things is created. So Chinese weapons and Chinese products are quality compromised things which Pakistan was using. And Pakistan's source of this, one of the source of their so-called nuclear weapons is China. One of the source. And others, whosoever is supposed to have given it, even including US, they must have not given them things wholeheartedly. America never gives anything wholeheartedly. Their every relation is trade-based relations. We in Bharat call it as 1x. Trade is Vaishya kind of relations. Nothing bad. You make profit, I make profit. That's the end ethics. So with this, how they will be able to do anything, God alone knows. They can't do it. If they say that we will nuke Bharat, they keep telling. Every step, every stone you turn in Pakistan, you will find a small boy standing half naked saying that we will put atom bomb in Bharat. Yes, that's what they are taught. And what happens after that, this idiot has no idea. Or the idiotic society has no idea. That's the situation in Pakistan. That is a very situation in Pakistan. So they are trying to get their ship through Hormuz, through talks to Lahori attitude. We call it as Lahori talks. Lahori means all talks and nothing. So we will go. They went, and the Iran caught them. Now what's their fate? I don't know. Even if you ask Pakistanis, he won't know. If some of the Iranians may be able to tell what is their fate. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Sri Ram. Jai Bharat.